And hey, I did my little blurb sharing my thoughts on Comic-Con coming to town. That was fun. All right, but maybe we could turn to some more fun, more interesting topics of the day. And I think today we were planning to talk a little bit about a finance topic, but in particular, the concept of how kids engage with finance. And I was trying to think that through, right? So again, we're trying to come up with a whole series of topics around finance for Alchemoney podcast channel, or whatever you want to call it, Funny Take channel. And my first thought was that the main way that kids engage in finance is basically get some money and spend it, but not necessarily in that order. They usually spend it first, but I mean, like, I hear some kids, some friends' kids, whatever. They're like, well, they invested in some clothing for their avatar, putting in $9.99 a month, and by the way, you can't. It's you can't buy something. You buy something, then you're buying it again every month. It's like there's no longer any buying anything. You don't own anything. You borrow it, or you just if you stop paying for it, they take it back. And we had that concept. It was called repossessing your car. I guess it's been around for a long time. If you stop paying, it will come with a tow truck and bring it home. But and they're the same thing. If you stop paying for your avatar, does your avatar show up naked? You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't pay that month's $9.99. But the thing that it struck me is that the main finance theory for kids today is how to get on someone else's subscription. So like I found out like one time, trying to watch something with my son, and he was like, pulled up this show on HBO. I was like, oh, we didn't have HBO. He goes, oh yeah, I know. I've been on Billy's HBO for the last 3 years. Oh, that's good to know. Does he know? He goes, no, he found out recently, so it's going to end soon. But I think we get another movie in tonight. I was like, great, let's get some popcorn. And that's the thing when and it goes pretty far. Like remember when Netflix recently like kind of cracked down on people sharing logins and all that? I mean, that created certainly a nationwide, if not a worldwide panic. They discovered all these rats coming out from a guy that you rented an Airbnb to 4 years ago is still on your Netflix. Like it's you did a rental car, you plugged in your phone to it. The next thing you know, your Spotify is up there. Someone else logged in. I don't even know how that would work, but so it's a different game, like compared to when we were kids. And it was so different. Like, first of all, I don't think these kids, I don't think they date. The concept of dating doesn't exist. We used to have a thing, and it's not that we're not like from the 1950s where you went on a formal dates, whatever it is, but you still had to like get some transportation, get somewhere, go see a movie. You got to pay for all that. You got to maybe go to the diner, get some food, whatever. All that stuff costs. So now these kids, they get the Uber on their parents' account. I told you their main thing is mooching on somebody else's subscription. They got Apple Pay on their phone. They scan it. They hope, like in my case, our credit card has so many transaction line items that they won't notice that get 47 Ubers for the month. They won't be like, 14 of those they won't recognize it. I'm going like, wait a minute, I'm reviewing the thing, saying to my wife, did you go to Chuck E. Cheese this month? No, you? I wonder what happened there. But you don't have to buy music. It's all a subscription. You don't have to take a car. You get these car services. All the stuff that we spent money on. It's a very different world, right? So I think they, I don't know. It seems like they need less money than we did. Doesn't mean in the future they won't need the money, but that's going to be the big problem. A few years down the road, they're going to, the parents aren't there with the subscriptions. It's going to be a big problem.
The old subscription quandary. Yeah. What happens later after they bundle themselves up in your subscriptions?
I know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to get in on that myself. You know what I mean? Like, there must be some dark website somewhere where you can sign up for whoever's even get some Uber Eats account going and get some food delivered. It's
dark web.
In fact, by the way, there's another thing that happens with kids in the so-called dark web. I got a letter one time from the cable company with a warning letter from their legal department saying, we noticed you've been downloading original movies and high bandwidth at the middle of the night.
Really?
And be like, son, what have you been downloading at 4 a.m.? Why is it that we have the latest Spider-Man movie before it came out in the theater? I wasn't sure if that was the case, but
well, let's watch it anyway.
I think I did notice his drone buzzing around outside our window. We may want to curtail some of that activity. I think they got a lock on our GPS positioning right now. Anyway, it's.
I think it's interesting, the whole subscription concept, and how families are so tied in, and the kids are locked into subscriptions. So you listed Apple subscription, Uber subscription, the e-bike subscription, Uber Eats. So the food's covered, the transportation's under subscription.
They got music, they got movies, music. It's really crazy. I mean, and it's they even have subscriptions for movies, right? I don't know if you ever did that movie pass or whatever.
Yeah, that's like the
the
next obvious step in a date. You have the movies.
Yeah, by the way, the movie thing. The movie pass thing, I never really understood the economic model of giving away unlimited movies a month for $40 or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure that there, that it seems like I don't know, like an all-you-can-eat buffet for the football team. I don't think I wonder if your profit margin is going to go down the drain, so to speak. But
and then also, what about the concept of maybe later on the kids never get off the subscription?
Yeah, I know. Lifetime subscription.
Lifetime.
You're a slave to the subscription.
Lifetime sounds like one of those.
By the way, they do calculate some number. That's like if you pay a certain amount, you did
what with the movies?
Not that in various subscriptions they always come up with some number, and this may be kind of sort of a hack thing we could think about. But you know how there's always some number. Like someone says for $9.99, my favorite number a month, you could subscribe to this. But if you pay, so that would be $120. But if you pay $100, you get a year. If you pay $150, you get 2 years. And if you pay $300, it's a lifetime thing. You know what I mean? Something because they know that almost all their subscribers, drop off on average after 2 years or whatever it is. So they if you buy 3 years, they're like, fine, you a lifetime. So maybe there's some way to sign up for lifetime subscriptions everywhere and just start slicing those up and selling. I got a genius model for for a startup.
And just like yours, do either of your boys? They wouldn't have a gym membership, would they?
Believe it or not, this is great. No, they have. That's a good thing you brought that. The interesting one you brought up. Planet Fitness. Do you guys have that out there? It's like a low end, starter, $25 a month or whatever gym. They have a thing for high school kids, free. You join free in high school anytime you're until you graduate, and then they try to get you hooked on coming there, using this thing, whatever. But
right.
I think you have to be 16. That's a free. So I don't know about the subscription, but that's the one. By the way, that's the old school type of subscription. You have you belong to 24-hour fitness, and your 19-year-old kid takes your ID, goes in, flashes it, looks the same. They don't know it's not you. Is your name Leslie? Yes. Just go on in. These days they can't question that. You know what I mean? That's different from our different from the old days.
No, the other thing is, how do you invert subscriptions? Like, what else could be put on subscription? Like, what about their mattress? Couldn't their mattresses be on subscription in the near future? Every 6 months, every 6 years, you change a new mattress. You get a subscription for the bedding. When they go off to college, well, college is a big subscription of some kind, in a sense.
Well, given how long they keep hounding you for donations after 27 years after you're out, They think you said it. By the way, do you have this issue? I definitely have this problem. Like, you ever donate to some organization, right? You hear about something, or there's a certain event, like, right now the Middle East is a lot of turmoil. Maybe you'll donate to something, and then just because you donated, there's this presumption that it's like a subscription. That, oh, you gave $100. Okay, then you get a bill next year for this year's 100. You get a bill. I gave you money last year. I didn't sign up for, like, show me show me the paperwork. That's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I didn't read the back. you know. But I don't know if you had that problem, but you donate money anywhere, and you'll be hearing from them, man. Like, you can't even move. They'll find you. I moved 4 times, still getting stuff from 4 moves ago. That's why I keep moving every couple of years to try to get ahead of the. I was too kind, in the past.
But I'm just trying to think if it's also like, if your kids have a different lifestyle than, say, kids in a different part of the country. I don't think so. I think what you're talking about is happening to every family.
I think it is. I mean, look, as I was trying to think about this, is it different in suburbs or cities and all
Yeah.
that? And I don't think it's that different. It's a little different. Like, hey, we got the city bike subscriptions or whatever, but maybe they're using more Lyft and Uber and some other thing in their area, and more bus services or whatever. But they're still swiping it on your Apple Pay, whatever.
Right.
By the way, just sort of in some senses, all kidding aside, there are some great tools that kids that you can use with kids to at least have them track what they're spending. I would divide parents into 2 types. Like, there's the types that are kind of like ruining their kids' financial future because they're just using all the subscriptions, swiping their card anywhere they go, covering any of their expenses. I think that's a bad move. They're gonna wake up one day and be like, "Oh, really? How do I manage any? What's the level of personal responsibility?" But then there's some apps and there's some tools where you can be like, "Hey, I'll put $200 aside for the month, and you can spend it out of an account. It'll track it on an app. Hey, if you want to blow it all on Chuck E. Cheese thing or whatever from 4 friends or Ubers, and you're done in a week. Good luck the next 3 weeks."
Now, is there an app where you could say you can partition off a couple $100 per month or whatever the number is, and then it just reduces from Uber, from e-bikes, from Chuck E. Cheese, from Netflix?
Well, yeah, it comes down. I think so.
Down?
It's a good question. I don't know if it's a good question. I think they'd have to have, that might be tough that way, right? Because it would have to have accounts on each sort of
They'd have to have security into, they'd have the APIs into all those.
Yeah. That's a good. If that doesn't exist, then let's go put that out there. Like, you should need a package of like 10 or 20 subscriptions to probably cover most of everything that they're doing.
Well, I mean, just to your point, I mean, for the kid to just know what he's spending across, and when it hits 0, then you get to decide whether we're upping it this month or not.
Yeah. The ramen noodles.
You broke it. That was it. That's what crossed over right there. Well, I mean, this is definitely where it's headed.
By the way, speaking of the ramen, in our day, that was the poster that was the example of if you're out of money in college, you're doing those ramen noodle cup of noodle thing, right?
Right.
Now ramen is like high end. That's what they go out. It's like $29 for a nice showu ramen, delicious. Oh, I love it, but it's no longer low end.
No. And I mean, what does that tell you? When ramen is no longer the go-to for cheap college food.
Oh my God! You get another great example. The Gray's papaya, the Papaya King. Those things. They had for years. I mean, this was like, you'd walk by in the corner, and they said recession special, $4.99, 2 hot dogs and the
you told me
drink, $4.99. I went in there. It's like $11.99. I'm like, what happened to the recession?
Hasn't happened yet.
They had that up all the way along until we actually hit a recession.
It's good. Once there's a recession, then we'll implement it.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you, I went in there. 2 hot dogs was like $9. I'm going. I mean,
that includes a drink.
No, it's literally like $11 to get the drink.
Oh, that hurts.
It hurts.
The last vestige of.
The crazy thing is, I don't know if you experienced this, but there's like a numerical anchors like in your mind based on your experience, right? So like at our parents, they remember gasoline being like under $1, 50 cents, 79 cents, and all of a sudden when it was at $3, they were like freaked out, right? I have a similar thing on food. Like I go into a deli. I remember growing up, it would be like $5, $6. If a sandwich was like $7, you'd be like, oh, this place is gourmet. You have to get a little fancy. You go in now, $7. That's the cheese that they added on top for the extra on top of the, you have the cheese on it. Oh, that's a $7 surcharge. I'm like, it's hard to swallow. No pun intended.
I don't know if you had this experience, but the one food category that absolutely drove that home to me when we were growing up was the pretzel at the hot dog stand in New York. All of a sudden, one day, it was like $1. It was 99 cents. It was a reasonable price, and all of a sudden, it was $3.75.
Really?
For a pretzel, for the same pretzel.
It was
I don't know what happened.
Pretzels were $1.
Remember that soft pretzel? It was amazing, and you could get it at 99 cents, and then it went to $3.75. Like, I don't know what happened. It was like it was a collaborative effort. Like it was a planned move by every pretzel place went to $3.75.
The thing is, they were inexpensive, and then sometimes if they actually dropped it on the ground and picked it back up, it would only 50 cents.
No, you're right.
I had that. The guy picked it up. He goes, blow off a little of the dirt, whatever. So it's right in the Central Park, little horse manure or whatever it is. No, that's just salt. That's just salt. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it is a little salty. But I agree. Look, those pretzels are the best. And they used to be about $1, maybe $1. If it got, and by the way, I don't know if they.
No, $1.50. I remember $1.50.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. By the way, this was a normal thing or not, but it's almost like assumed that those guys would try to scam you. Like we grew up in this environment where you had to learn to ask the price first. If they,
oh yeah. I'll take a hot dog. I'll take this. I'll take that. Oh yeah.
The guy. It's $24. You're like,
want a drink? Yeah, of course I want a drink.
And it was the same. By the way, it was the same thing at the electronics store. It's the whole culture of New York that existed back then. And I'm trying to figure out where that is now because the nature of people didn't change. So there's those people still there. But like, remember, you go into an electronics store, there's no prices anywhere. There's cameras and radios and clock radios and watches and all this cool stuff, right? And you look around, there's not a single price in there. And I sometimes had fun hanging around, and you'd see some obvious tourists in there. And they're looking at the camera. They think this is 48th Street photo, 47th Street, the famous guy advertising all the time. They're thinking,
right,
only $2.99 for this thing. And I'm saying to the guy, like, yeah, I just saw that in Crazy Eddie's for $1.49. I think you get. And they would chase me out of the store because I'd be telling people. Covered up their business. So, it was like my little justice mission there, but I don't know where people encounter that stuff today, right? Like where people those electronic stores, you don't do that anymore, right? They don't exist.
Are they there anymore?
No. There's no stores like that.
Oh wow.
But and I think those food vendors probably do the same thing. They see some Norwegian tourists coming by, pretzel and a hot dog, 1950.
Well, I mean, have you heard some of those stories that come through Tourists Anywhere? I mean, I guess when you travel with your kids to you guys went to Greece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did you have a slightly different budgeting plan for them when you were in Greece? Did you put them on the holiday program? Like, how did you approach budgeting with your kids when you were vacationing with them?
The thing is, it's a good question, but when you're vacationing, yeah, they buy some souvenirs and stuff like that. You kind of let that go. But it's more about like what activities you can do. Hey, can we do this snorkeling adventure? And you're like, $2.99 a person. I think maybe not today, or maybe you decide we're going to do one of those, or we're going to rent a boat, or we're going to do something. But like that's a different. But there isn't like a budgeting. That's a vacation.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe but that's the reward for doing all the budgeting during the year.
Yeah. No, it is. That's a good point. But then, that always brings up the old Disney. Like most people are doing like a Disney trip or something like that, and that just gets insane. I don't even know how they manage.
Just out of curiosity, have you done a Disney trip with the kids?
Yeah, we did the Disney. We did California. I don't know if you remember that. We went to
California. Okay, not Disney World, Florida, but Disneyland.
No. We went to Disneyland and we went to Legoland in San Diego. We did it. I mean, we did it big. We did the whole thing. We went big for a week.
And what happens at Disney? The kids get like tickets, coupons, a badge. What happens there?
Once you're in, you're in. You know what I mean? But food, they call it food.
Wait, you're in. Once you're in, you're in. Even the food? No, the food you have to pay.
No. Food. I'm telling you, they kill you on the food.
Right.
But you get in the rides, and I think the way they manage that, like if you don't have a if you don't pay extra for some kind of special access thing, which there are ways to do it, you could spend an hour waiting for each ride. So your entire day is 6 rides.
Right.
Like, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's a whole nother. I think we're gonna have to separate that for a whole nother.
No, that's kind of vacation budgets.
Yeah, but so anyway, those are my observations on not to cut us off short. I'm happy to keep.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out where we are.
No, I think we're at. I mean, if I look at my, here's the point. We just recorded 20 minutes.
That was nice.
Cycled through a variety of topics, starting with one, and I think it flowed great because almost none of that was planned.
No.
Just the thematic top line was planned, and I had a couple of ideas to throw in there, and then it flowed all kinds of. I'm remembering now that stuff just comes out. I love that. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even thinking about half of that stuff. But we could grab that. Great. We can listen to that and see if we get 10, 15 minutes or even 20 or whatever of like a fun dialogue, and see if we can post it as an episode on Alchemoney episode.
Perfect.
Alchemoney. Alchemoney. That's another thing that how much money do you
alimony
in the book?
Alimony. There's something Alchemoney and alimony. They're a little close in there. The alchemy.
Yeah. It's how do you conjure up some living after you get divorced?
Conjure.
Yeah. By the way, there definitely is a little bit of a delay, and in between. Occasionally, I'm seeing a delay between your speech and your thing, and I know you're not a ventriloquist, but sometimes I hear your voice coming out of that plant in the corner. I wonder if that was. Oh,
really?
I'm kidding. By the way, the funny thing about that background
can I say, now that you bring that up, you have a slight delay on your end too. I didn't even notice it until now.
Oh, yeah. So we'll check it.
I mean, we're talking like, I wouldn't even know it. If you had not brought it up, I would have noticed it.
Yeah. So what's cool is we'll get a nice video, and we're going to be side by side, I believe, and we're going to get this audio, and that's great. I don't know that my system has enough, bandwidth to actually get it downloaded, like space on my drive. But I'll give it a try because I know I'm like right at the edge.
But you could put it on a USB.
Okay. Oh, good idea. I'll try that. Yeah. And
okay.
By the way, I was just going to comment your background. It looks like it's actually your apartment. It's the same sort of style, the window, the thing. I don't know if you know. What's that?
I wish it looked this nice.
What's your place?
Let me. I don't even know how that background went on. I didn't have anything to do with it. I hope it comes up again next time. By the way, each time you go on, you select this background, or does it select it for you?
Once it was selected, it just comes up. This is the one.
Right.
You know what's funny? It reminds me. It looks exactly like a place I stayed on a home exchange in Montreal.
Wow.
And I'm like, I always feel like I'm calling you from Montreal.
I love it. I love that. There's something really.
Ici en Montreal.
And the more I think about it, I think it's better we don't have the same backgrounds. It looks better without. It looks more realistic.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I think what's great is again we kind of broke the ice on a little dialogue, a little flow. We could go back. We want to do a little more format where we say, okay, go through the intro, then we know with the cue that we're going to a little back and forth, which is what we did. By the way, normally we might then stop and say, okay, let's change to a different topic. But there's nothing wrong with what we just did.
Yeah. Well, what we did there was we did the opening, the banter, the let it flow, and then you said you felt good about it at that point. And what we didn't do is the topic du jour piece. Remember, I was going to tee up topics, but that was fine. But we could have done the topic du jour too.
Meaning like some other finance topic, or
no, it was like within the envelope of this topic of whatever the topic you teed up, which was kind of whatever you brought in. Then we said we're going to do opening. You go with it. Then we go banter. Then we do let it flow, see where it goes, and then the fourth piece of each topic would be topic du jour, meaning I would tee up some questions related to that topic, and then you would sort of hit it. I bring one up, like whereas like the news, today, and I was going to give 2 or 3 topics related to finance with kids, but we chose to stop at Let It Flow. I think that worked out great.
And you know what happens? I realized maybe this method is the best because it flowed so in a fun way through different topics. By the way, we even have like a 3-minute thing on Comic-Con, separate recording that's on there.
Right.
And we'll see what that is. But
it was tight. And you said it came in at 20 minutes or 25 minutes, roughly.
Right now we're at 25 minutes. I'll stop the recording.
26, yeah.
Should I stop
That's
it
great.
so that we don't get too big a file?
Yeah, 26 is good. We're gonna have to. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think we've stopped. Yeah.
I'll stop recording. We don't have to hang up. And let me just stop. 3, 2, 1, off.